What is up, you guys? The Fallout What If here, and today I'm going to be doing a what if. Basically, what if Issei was the reincarnation of Son Goku, or basically the Monkey King? Now, what happened was this. Basically, Issei and the others talk. Issei talks to the freaking Occult Research Club, and they go to his house, setting up a meeting because since Rias and Asya lives there, basically they just talk. Not only that, but freaking Kiba sees a couple of pictures that he has during his time training in the temple. Not only that, Kiba does see something known as the Holy Sword. Now, basically, Issei looks at them and he says, "Oh yeah, I had this before. I gave it as a gift once, although they told me not to have it because my friend, who's a childhood friend of mine, basically we talked for quite a while, and Issei just says, yeah, pretty much they wanted to give me a sword. I had to give them something in return of a sword. And yeah, pretty much that's how we live. We give back to those who give up. We give back things that they give us. So yeah." And Kiba saying, "Is that holy? That's a holy sword, right?" And he says, "Yeah, that's a holy sword." And he says, "Do you still have it?" And he says, "I think so. Probably not." Like I said, his father was an archaeologist and all that stuff. So they gave it to us as like a token of gratitude, and we also gave him scrolls and different things. I don't remember what was in the scrolls, but yeah, pretty much that's it. And this is when freaking Issei just says, "Why are you talking about this, freaking Kiba?" And this is when Kiba says, "Oh, nothing much, just, yeah, living with that sword. I know a few things about that sword, so I was just wondering and curious and all that stuff, and lying as well." Issei just says, alright, if that makes you feel better, but either way, I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. And pretty much Kiba does her own thing. Issei talks to them a little bit more about what the sword is. Then Kiba has a fight with Kiba does get into a fight with Siegfried. And not only that, Issei does have a dream. Different dreams. Among others, basically a monkey versus the monkey versus a white dragon. Not only that, the monkey becoming a person becoming super strong and blew the limits beyond gods. And not only that, another vision of a dragon telling him that he's going to have to fight the white one day. And basically Issei just says, alright, that sounds pretty cool and all that stuff. And pretty much, the church, there's going to be, followers of the church that talk, basically Zenobia and Irina, and they all talk about, not the Ope, they're going to talk about, that senpai, not Ope. Sheesh, I forgot what it was. I can't believe I said Opie. Oh boy, I'm such a pervert. But that's not the point. And pretty much, Issei just, goes to his house, and he basically sees two girls that are there sipping tea. And what Issei is upset about is more the fact that they just went inside and got tea, instead of more of the fact that these two are holy, followers of the church. One says her name is Irina, and another one says her name is Zenobia, and Irina hugs freaking Issei. And this is when they talk, pretty much about, how are they doing? pretty much Issei was like, yeah, I'm doing pretty well, and, well, you know, all that stuff, I got out of the temple, and I decided to start school, and not only that, who's the chick right there who looks like she's gonna kill me? And this is when pretty much freaking Rias pops in, because after this whole shower thing with Zenovia, she felt something weird. Not only that, pretty much Asia's right there behind her, and Issei just makes sure she's right behind him. Zenovia says that, you know, we were just need to talk to you about going to speak with your master. Not only that, we hope you guys come along so we can relay the message to everyone, so that way none of you guys, so that way we can make sure that you guys heard it all. Issei says, alright, sorry about this. That's all the tea we had. And she says, no, that's alright. This tea is pretty nice, decent, it smells nice, you know, flavors and all that stuff. Pretty much they say their goodbyes. Irina gives him a hug, and she says that he's becoming taller. Well, he's much more taller than he was when he was a kid. And pretty much not only that, Issei just says, well, that's pretty good. It's been a while since I've seen them. Rias comes into the house and says, what just happened? Issei was kind of scared, but he does say that, oh yeah, pretty much nothing more than freaking, well, different things. Let's just say that different things happened, and Issei tells Rias that, yeah, I'm pretty much okay right now. Nothing bad happened, and you know they go to sleep because pretty much they did their own thing, and Asia is just sleeping on his right side, you know, Rias on his left side, and pretty much they're just sleeping. After all that stuff, Issei, in his dreams, gropes. And pretty much he's a pretty nice groper. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Anyway, he was reaching for the yopai. And I hope nobody can hear me from the other side of the door. And, no, literally, because my mother, my brothers are here today, you know. Well, not they're here, but, you know, they're awake. So, whatever I say, I hope they don't hear. Oh, gosh. But anyway, so that all happens. Pretty much Issei just goes and, you know, wakes up. And some of them are, well, just the two of them, are pretty much not doing nothing, to be honest. Pretty much they're all just sleeping. Issei just jumps out of bed, and he starts his morning exercises, and he remembers that he has to go to school. After all that, he goes to school as fast as he can, leaving Rias and freaking Asia to wake up right on time, and to, how would I say this, go to school. Or, no. Leaving them to go to school by themselves, getting kind of upset with Issei because, first of all, he just left. Issei was more worried about different things, such as, how would I say this? I don't know, to be honest. But if you guys are also wondering about the whole freaking Kiba incident and the Azazel thing, well, let me just say this. Pretty much everything happens, but Issei was more the one to protect Kiba and fight the demon off. Not only that, mostly tear half apart, and Rias did her thing. And, you know, the whole thing with Kiba just was wondering about different things such as revenge and the Excalibur weapons. Not only that, with freaking not Issei, but with freaking Azazel. Yeah, they pretty much talked and they drank and all that stuff. So yeah, and not only that, pretty much he gets the freaking picture and all that stuff, because he can't just grab his soul. He doesn't want to take his soul. That's just not fair. Now, Issei just says, all right. So, that's pretty nice indeed. And that's pretty much all that happened. Now, what else happens? Oh yeah, the whole Siegfried fight with Kiba. And not only that, pretty much Issei and Kiba talk for a little while. Although Kiba says that there's no need to talk to her anymore, Issei just grabs her freaking angrily and says that she's the most important thing. She is important to him. The fact of the matter being that if she were to be hurt or anyway, he would not stand for it. Kiba, freaking, heart racing a little faster. And Issei really serious. Kiba says that she's not gonna die. Just because Issei said so. And Issei just is like, okay, I hope you don't die. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So the two followers of the church, not only that, talking with Rias, they say that if you back off and do not try to attempt to aid us or aid them or try to attack us in any way, we won't attack you guys as well. Leaving a mutual agreement. Not only that, pretty much Issei was like, alright, I can handle that. Nothing wrong with that, just a little bit of a... Yeah, that's pretty much it right there. And this is when pretty much Zenobia and Irina talk about Asya being a heretic. And this is when Zenobia says, oh, aren't you the same Asya Argento? The one who was pretty much the witch? And Issei says, wait, witch? And pretty much he remembers the time that Asya says, oh yeah, I was a heretic, I was a witch, everybody hated me. And pretty much Issei gets kind of mad. And this is when he says, you guys just back off. You two both are idiots. Can't you see you're just hurting her? And Issei stands in front of Zenobia and Irina, and he says, yeah, I know things like this is not something you would like to agree on. Hold on here. I know something like this isn't ordinarily easy to get off scot-free, because he just stood in front of them looking for a fight. And this is when Zenobia says, this is not a thing between you or me. This is between me. This is between me and the girl right there, who's also the witch. And Issei looks at freaking Asya. This is when Zenobia says, if we kill you right now, you can probably be in the good graces of God again. You won't have to actually die being a witch still. You would just have to go and, how would I say this? If we just cut you down right now, and you can use that as for your repentance. You can repent, and, nothing bad will happen. This is when Issei gets even more mad, and, I think pretty much Issei would just say, you both piss off right now. She doesn't need someone like you to just ruin her life. I'm not going to even let you kill her. And this is when they say, oh, is that a statement? Issei just looks at them with more electricity firing through his eyes. He's saying, that's a fact. None of you girls are going to hurt her, as long as I'm around. And this is when Zenobia says, oh, so you think you can actually beat us? And Issei says, yes, I think I can beat you. And pretty much, Issei and the others are going to fight. Now, Issei has used the dragon form, but I'm going to let him go Super Saiyan 1. But Fallout, why would you make him go Super Saiyan 1? Isn't that OP? Well, no. And yes, in a way. You see, Issei going Super Saiyan 1 isn't a big issue. You see, the whole plan of this is basically a type of boosting due to the fact that since he was part Saiyan once, his genetic makeup somewhat gave him an ability to somewhat boost his physical stats, and not only that, his key stats. So, by technicality, Issei knows how to use freaking ki and all that stuff, and chi. Not only that, using it to protect his body, but his Super Saiyan form isn't giving him yellow hair or anything like that, although I probably did say that. It is like this. Issei's stats have doubled. Physical strength, doubled. Speed, doubled. Agility, doubled. What's it called? Perception, doubled. Everything about him doubled. And that is how I'm going to try to put this. Because since he's not Saiyan, I can't just say, oh yeah, his genetic makeup may be part monkey, but it's not Saiyan. It's not an alien. It's an actual monkey. Or at least a godlike monkey. So that's why I'm not going to do that. Now, Issei just talks to freaking, That's a tough one right there. Alright. Basically, Issei just goes Super Saiyan 1 or just SSI. Super Saiyan Issei. I don't know how to do this part yet, but I will soon. But anyway, Kiba says she's going to join in the fight. And they say, oh yeah, one of the people who fought, you were talking about being one of the people who hate the freaking church, the old church, for doing that. And this is when Issei just says, alright, so I guess now someone is coming as well. So basically they all charge, and Issei just starts fighting them. And since Issei is not actually fighting, gets a group of people at once, he's not going to use his queen or all that stuff. He's just basically pawn, or basically using his pawn abilities. So pretty much Issei just starts fighting them, and Irina is actually trying to attack him, but Issei is just using his staff to somewhat blocking all the moves and all the hits. Not only that, pretty much Issei is just somewhat dodging most of them, almost kicking Irina in the face, but Irina just jumping out of the way, and pretty much using her freaking sword, or her Excalibur, pretty much to attack him. Issei is dodging, not only that, making sure she doesn't hit him, but this is when she lands a freaking slash on Issei's freaking arm. So when he does that, he basically was becoming a little tiny bit weak. And Issei was like, that kind of actually hurts. I forgot this is the Excalibur. I thought this was going to hurt more. And pretty much he just starts fighting and fighting and fighting. And pretty much pushes her away. So this is when Irina lands another strike on his leg. Issei is feeling a little bit more drowsier. But it's nothing that he can't push off. But this is when pretty much Issei is now seeing how slow he's becoming. Pretty much Issei is feeling like one of the times when he was a child. He feels slower. He feels like he's fighting as a child. And this is when she basically just accidentally stabs him a little bit. And Issei just starts feeling this immense pain. And he's just crouching down just a little bit and just striking. And Issei is just going on the fence. And he's just blocking every attack that he possibly can, getting strike after strike after strike after strike after strike. And this is when both Issei and Kiba, well, Kiba got a little nicked, a little slash, like a tiny cut. Even that is somewhat draining her a lot. And Issei sees that Kiba is in trouble. And not only that, Irina is saying that since he's about to faint, he's going to lose. So these two better just take care of Kiba. And Issei is somewhat fainted. but he's standing up still. And Issei is just looking at Kiba, trying to blur out words, but not even that could help because he can't speak. Now, this is when pretty much he sees what's happening. His eyes can still see everything in front of him and on his sides, but he's still directing his concentration to freaking Kiba. For some reason, that's how it's happening. And this is when Kiba gets attacked and pretty much accidentally gets slashed even more, and pretty much she's in constant pain, crying, and Issei just somewhat gets mad. And he's just getting a little bit more madder. And the others were about to stop the fight. But this is when Issei is just getting back up, slowly but surely. Somewhat, his ki is overflowing because instead of it looking like it's draining, or it's not looking like it's spiking, it's spiraling upwards. It's pretty much gloomy and darker, and much more of a shadow is coming out of it. And it's becoming much more red and blacker. And pretty much Issei's freaking, how would I say this? His freaking hand is starting to call out Drake. Drake is boosting, and pretty much Issei is just somewhat landing a freaking energy field, or not an energy field, but a boosting, and shooting it at Kiba. The girls were scared and pretty much saying that, what is Issei doing? And this pretty much hits Kiba, causing Kiba to be healed instantly, but not only that, causing her to become immensely, much more powerful than she was beforehand. And Issei is somewhat different. He sees much more spikes on his hair. Not only that, this more of a darker aura out of pure anger. Issei is just walking towards them and just vanishes, because this time Zenobia is fighting Issei and Irina is fighting Kiba. Now, Issei is just somewhat punching, and pretty much Zenobia blocks it with a freaking punch, or with a slash to the sword, or not a slash to the dragon's hand, but it's not doing a thing. And pretty much Issei just pushes it out of the way and somewhat sucker punches her in the freaking stomach. And not only that, Issei just summons a freaking energy blast to blast right behind her and causing her to technically be pushed forward, and Issei is just kicking her in the freaking chest. Issei, after all that stuff happens, shoots, summoning a freaking weapon out of his hand, and pretty much grabbing it by the part of his ear, and then somewhat saying, "Power pole extend." And this pole is much more menacing looking. It's much more blacker, it's much more crimson-like, and it has a little bit of gold onto it. And it's pretty much leading upwards, and he's about to slam it to the ground when Konako freaking punches him in the face. And all he sees is a Konako who's a little bit mad and crying. And she says, "You idiot. You can't do this. If you do it, then you're going to be in trouble. You can't just beat people up that way. That's not you." And Issei, somewhat looking at her, just somewhat scaring Konako for a second there. And Issei says, "You're right." And pretty much he just grabs his fist and he punches himself so hard that he flies back into a tree. Issei saying, "That's not who I am. That's not who I am at all. Thanks, Konako." Whew. And pretty much he's getting himself under control. And this is when he just starts charging in and pretty much using his staff and hitting Irina in the freaking stomach and knocking her out. Not only that, somewhat kicking Zenobia upwards and pretty much bonking her in the head. And pretty much carrying her downwards. And that's pretty much it. Not only that, issei is just pretty much done and saying, I'm stronger than all you guys think. Although, this form is somewhat draining. It's hurting so much more. But I somewhat did it. And pretty much he just passes out. Now the girls are taking care of him and all that stuff. Kiba's happy and mad at the same time that, you know, they almost lost. So, pretty much all that happens. Now, after all that is done, they go and try to fight freaking Siegfried, and I forgot Valper. And the reason why they're going to do that was because issei had a plan to help Kiba out, and pretty much Zenobia and Irina see his fighting potential to be the most strongest of the strong, to be so powerful and yet so gentle, to be having that killer intent, but to somewhat snap himself back into reality with so much concentration and force. It leaves them to be a little more lustful for Issei Hyoto. And pretty much, let's see. Oh yeah, after all that, you know, they go and try to go fight Siegfried. And Issei, Kiba, I always forget that one dude, but he has the black dragon. And not only that, Konako, then after that, pretty much the other ones are going to fight. So, Issei, you know, just has this plan, and they go see freaking Valper and Fudge, what's his face, Siegfried. And yeah, they go to fight. Now, Siegfried and freaking Kiba are now fighting them, leaving freaking Kiba to, how would I say this? Well, Kiba is somewhat saying do not fight with him, but at the same time, she needs all the help she can get. And these two are fighting. Not only that, fighting someone with another Excalibur, so they have to be very careful to make sure they don't get hurt. So, Issei just somewhat summons an energy blast and tries to hit Siegfried, but the sword just blocks it. Not only that, Issei just says, alright, and just does a sudden key stance, and somewhat teleports right behind him. And then after that, right behind him again, because Siegfried's looking at where he's at. And then he's just going around everywhere, pretty much creating copies of himself, yet not copies, after images. And leaving Issei to just spur out the words, and this is when Siegfried is saying, what the hell are you saying? Just fight me already. And he says, May. And then just says, ha. And pretty much Siegfried sees what's happening. And Valper says, use the energy to block it. And pretty much this is when he's summoning so much energy. And Issei is just shooting out the Kamehameha wave as hard as he can. This is when Valper is trying to be attacked. And Issei is knowing that pretty much all the others are going to try to attack them and all that stuff. You know, how would I say this? Valper is just wanting to get out of there. And this is when Issei just says, alright, we just need to get out of here as fast as we can. Not only that, pretty much they're trying to hurt freaking Siegfried, but Siegfried is still blocking. And yeah, pretty much after Issei's done with his attack, he's pretty much a little woozy, but he feels strong still. But here's the thing, he still has that the holy energy within him. which was hurting him in the first place, which hurt him last time when he fought Zenobia and Irina. So it's not completely out of his system because he got attacked much more. So issei is going to summon a ki blast again, but this is when Siegfried goes to Vulper and pretty much throws a freaking energy, like an energy, not an energy blast, but a freaking flash grenade or flash bullet or whatever it is, and pretty much they just leave issei and the others. With all of them leaving, Zenobia and Vulper, or not Zenobia and Vulper, but you know, all that stuff happens. Now, pretty much Kiba's chasing them, so he's not going to get punishment, but issei is. And this is when he's all like, wait a minute, Rias, we didn't do nothing. We just fought back. We were defending ourselves. We were chasing after Kiba. And she said, yes. And you could have actually gotten Kiba out of this. But you didn't. And issei was like, wait a minute, that's not fair. I was doing everything I could. And she says, I guess you were. And this is when pretty much Sanji! Oh boy, I got it. Sanji basically got 200 slaps. Because here's the thing. It was more not weighted out. It was more the fact that pretty much none of them are hurt. Not only that, pretty much issei is the one who's a little more woozy. And not only that, Rias just decides to give him 100 spankings. This is when, you know, Konoko says that it was her fault as well, so she gets at least one. But it's soft-hearted and stuff. Issei sees what was happening. He was like, oh yeah, this is coming together right away. So, this is when issei just says, alright, I'll take my punishment as much as I can. And this is when she says, issei, move your monkey tail. Wait, what? And just smacks him 100 times over. Well, basically 99 times. This is when Sanji says, this isn't fair. What did I do to deserve for this? I was like held against my will. And this is when Sona says, Sona, hopefully that's her name. Sona says, take your punishment like a man. This is them. This is us. This is how we do things. And this is when Sanji says, that's not fair. And she says, life isn't fair. Get used to it. issei, you bastard. And this is after that, issei, you know, he doesn't feel that pain like last time. He's like, that kind of hurts still, you know. And after all that stuff happens, Konoko just says, thank you, issei, for trying to, you know, take the grunt force for me. This is when issei says, yeah, pretty much. I would never want my partner to be hurt. And this is when she's saying, don't say it like that. You're making me all blushy. And issei says, oh, heck yeah. And this is when she smacks him in the head and saying, down, boy. And issei says, but I'm a monkey. I'm not a dog. Yes, whatever. Down, Kujo. Gosh. Oh boy. So with all that stuff happening, pretty much issei, you know, does his thing, goes home, seeing Asya with, how would I say it? Seeing Asya with only an apron on makes issei freaking happy. Not only that, he just hugs her all tight and nice and all that stuff. Ria's saying, Mother, I want one as well. And this is when freaking Rias is trying to get hers on, but this is going to take a couple of minutes. Issei just loses himself entirely and just grubs the ass. He grubs it without giving it the squeeze of a lifetime. And not only that, he was about to nibble. He was nibbling on her ear for a couple of minutes, you know, just giving giving her a bit of happiness. And this is when Rias just looks at issei, and this is when issei gets a nosebleed and all that stuff. Not only that, issei's a little more happier because that happened. So, give me a second here, people. Oh, okay. So yeah, pretty much all that stuff happens, and you know, issei was definitely, you know, grabbing the oppai with Rias, and you know, nibbling on freaking, you know, Asia's ear, you know, just having this party bonanza, and you know, making his power pole extend beyond belief. So after all that stuff happens, pretty much the next day rolls around, and yeah, the whole thing with Kokobeel and freaking Siegfried, those two, yeah, they pretty much still attack Irina, but issei does, you know, listen to freaking Rias when they say that, oh yeah, this happened, this and this, such and such happened, and issei runs to freaking, how would I say this? Sheesh. Freaking Irina says that, you know, they were trying to attack him, and now that they probably are going to attack them, and he says who, and pretty much all you see is the whole, like, stadium, or not stadium, a barrier, as purple as that could be, because issei saw this whole freaking thing with Irina, and he gets kind of mad, and becomes a little more enraged. And issei is looking straight up in the air. And give me a second here, people. So, basically, they talk with Kokobeel. After the whole thing with Irina, basically them teleporting her to, I forgot what her name is. Tsubaki. Yeah, Tsubaki, after that whole thing happened, basically they talk a little bit to Siegfried, and after that to Kokobeel. Kokobeel's going to start a war, and issei just somewhat shoots out a ki blast, and Kokobeel just looks at it and takes it head on. And issei just says, "So I see you're not actually weak at all." And this is when Kokobeel says, I see something fierce within you. I see somewhat a goddess within you, but not only that, I see something else filled with rage." And this is when issei says, "You're damn right. Not only are you and Siegfried the ones who, basically, the reason for Asia, for her being the way she is, but not only that, you freaking took on Irina and hurt her. And I see on your arm, Siegfried, you took that from her as well, didn't you?" And this is when Siegfried just says, "Well, of course I did. What else would I have taken? Well, I took something else, but she is a dirty person now." And this is when issei just says, "I'm seriously going to kill the both of you." And this is when he starts to just change a little bit, but this is when Kokobeel says, "Ha! I see the Red Dragon Emperor sleeps within you. But I know that he's roaring inside, waiting for a battle. Oh boy. Not only that, it wouldn't be worth the time right now. Not with Azazel being here soon enough to try to take me down." And this is when issei says, "Azazel?" This is when he remembers. Well, first of all, he does remember what Rainier said about Azazel and freaking something else. Azazel and Shimize. Hopefully they would accept her and all that stuff. And not only that, issei just says, "Oh boy. You're going to die." And this is when they say, this is Kokobeel says, "I hope so. I'm so bored with this pleasantries right now. I'm going to start at the school. And basically he goes to school and all that stuff. Now, a little bit more dialogue was sent to this, but you guys want battles. I'll see if I can get you battles. Now, all of them go to the school. Sona and all the others are basically setting up barriers and all that. Not only that, but freaking what's her face? Not Kokobeel, not Irin. No. Akino informs their ex to, go help them out. Rias and Akino have their little bit of a tidbit. And not only that, issei is getting ready to become fighting. Well, he's getting ready to fight with everything he's got. And basically, issei just goes Super Saiyan 1. And basically, like I said, it just doubles his physical stuff. Not only that, a little bit of his energy and chi. So all that is happening, and they're ready to fight. Now, give me a second here. Okay. So, while this whole thing was happening, issei, like I said, as Super Saiyan 1, basically was charging into Kokobeel and just shooting off a couple of ki blasts. Not only that, but with freaking Kokobeel just somewhat pushing them all the way, he just throws a freaking summoning and summons 3 freaking Seabrisses. And basically what happened with that was, well, technically issei and the others had to fight it. Not only that, issei had to, he had to become much more agile, or basically dodging a lot of the attacks, but just punching one in the face, it was not that hard, but he got attacked with some of the fire from the other one, with issei just somewhat using chi to somewhat bend his body a bit, or make him stiff as a board, basically somewhat taking the brunt force of the attack without actually dealing any of the damage. And this is when issei said, "Wait, I could do this?" And this is when Drake says, "Yes, you could do a lot of things with freaking ki, or whatever you guys call it nowadays. But use me as your boost." And this is when issei just summons a boost. And then again, and then again. And pretty much issei just gets ready for the attack once more. And just shoots freaking energy to freaking Konako. And this is when Konako becomes much more stronger, punching one so hard in the face that it almost caves them in. So after all that stuff happened, pretty much issei said, "Wow, you're pretty strong, Konako." And issei just says, "Alright everybody, it's time for you guys to get your daily dosage of issei boost." And that did not sound sexual whatsoever. Last of Us, I know that you're there. I could hear, I could smell the pervertedness coming off of you watching my video. And pretty much issei just shoots out, just gives them the boost. And basically, these freaking Rias and Akino do their thing. Not only that, Zenobia helps in, and Kiba, because she decided to go help out as well earlier. So all of them are now are fighting. So basically, they're just attacking and all that stuff. Not only that, issei just charges in with a freaking staff and smashing one so hard in the head. Not only that, while using chi, making it actually stiff like a board, and instead of it bending or giving it a little slight bend, it basically got hit so hard, feel like a metal bar, or basically a lead bar, hitting a freaking watermelon. So after all that stuff, the Seabrisses die, and pretty much Kokobeel just says, "Impressive. So fun to see this. Look at this. The Red Dragon Emperor. Who knew you had such tricks up your sleeve?" And this is when Kiba sees freaking Valper, and Valper says nothing to him. And this is when Kiba gets on her rampage, because she just sees him, and issei just says, "Wait, Kiba, hold on." and pretty much just charges in, trying to go to Kiba as fast as he could, but Kokubeel shoots a freaking light spear, almost hitting freaking Kiba, but Issei grabs it. His hands are actually burnt. One of his hands are burning because the other one is technically a dragon's hand, due to him giving full control over that part of the hand. And this is when Issei just raises his chi onto the other side and pretty much pushes it away somewhere else, back towards the guy. Kokubeel just pushes it away and says, "Wow, who knew that you actually could block, and not only that, parry it, or at least throw it back to me. This is so unexpected." But summoning another light spear, it doesn't matter. Issei gets very mad and just charges in, shooting a freaking Kamehameha wave towards freaking how would I say this? He shoots out a freaking Kamehameha wave. Kamehameha wave. Kamehameha. Well, that's a weird thing to say. Kamehameha. Yeah, ha. It's a freaking Kokubeel's light spear. Actually, both doing a fair bit of damage to one another's attacks. So, this is when Issei just sees what's going to happen. And this is when he just charges in. Not only that, shoots out freaking Ki Blast towards the whole freaking Siegfried thing, but he becomes much more faster. And Issei is trying to attack, but this is when Zenovia and Kiba are fighting him. Now, give me a second here, people, because I gotta do something right here and right here. Alright, anyway, so when all this happened, basically, Issei was talking to freaking Kiba. Kiba gets to talk to Valper. Valper, gives her the freaking stone that gives her all of the freaking souls of her friends. Her becoming enraged, but somewhat changing herself, and then becoming much more powerful. So now, somewhat, how would I say this? Okay. So basically, when Kokubeel, not Kokubeel, when Valper, tells her all the stuff, yeah, she becomes much more calmer, even though she's enraged. The souls all become one with her, and after that, she becomes the Holy Devil Sword. And after that, pretty much Zenovia comes up with Durandal, and they both fight, pretty much, Siegfried and Valper losing, but Valper dying, and not only that, how would I say this? That's a tough one, I hear. Okay. Because of freaking, not Valper, freaking Kiba? No. Oh, that's I always hate when this happens, but when freaking Valper died, Kokubeel asked freaking Issei and freaking, Issei to become powerful again, and Issei just summons his goes into Super Saiyan 1, and, goes walking in with Rias holding his hand, and Issei just getting ready for the final, his final fight, as you may call it.
The following is intended only.
And yeah, pretty much that's how the fight. This is going to be a good fight for Issei. Even though he's mad, he's more pumped than usual. He doesn't know why, but it's like something within him just wants to fight. And give me a second here. So, the attack continues. Basically, Issei and the others start attacking, with Issei just charging in with the first blow, trying to hit Kokubeel, but Kokubeel was a little too fast for that. Not only that, using his wings to stab Issei in several parts of his arms and legs, him getting kicked straight in the gut. After that, Issei is on the ground, getting healed by freaking Asya. Now, with that happening, freaking Kiba and Zenovia do their fair bit to attack. Not only that, Issei is just, in a way, just dumbstricken with just pain. And he's crying out in agony because this is kind of hurting him. Because what he didn't realize was that basically Kokubeel used light feathers on him. And basically, if you want to know what light feathers are, basically he somewhat use light. He used light particles within to make his attacks to just be put into the wings, and basically causing Issei pain. And not only that, basically the others are attacking and fighting and all that stuff. So, with all that happening, pretty much Issei, and not only that, Rias and freaking Akino, they're fighting too. But since Issei is down right now, basically they have to attack with the boost that they were given previously. So with that being out of the way, pretty much Issei is just looking at what's happening. And not only that, Konako is helping as well, since, you know, the whole fight's happening. And basically, Konako got hurt. Not only that, Rias and freaking Akino are kind of in pain. Not only that, Kiba and Zenobia are doing their whole thing. And basically, all the talk about the holy devils, the angels and the holy devils, and not the holy devils, angels, devils, and fallen. Basically, Kokobile talks about God and the 4 devil kings were dying. Not only that, freaking Kokobile just saying, yeah, all that's happening. Not Konako, basically Zenobia and freaking Asi are the ones that are hurt more. And Issei just gets up after being healed to a certain extent and just raises his ki. Now, basically all that happens, and give me a second here. So, basically when Issei and the freaking other people were fighting, Issei gets back up and charges up to Super Saiyan 2. And charges at freaking, not Volley, freaking, what's their face again? Oh yeah, when he chases, freaking, Kokobile. Yeah, Kokobile. Basically, Kokobile and the others start fighting and all that stuff. Not only that, Issei just gets smashed with a freaking light spear, but then just charges up again, raising his power up to the exact same strength that he had. Even though he may be a Super Saiyan 2 now, his energy after getting hurt is not limiting, but it's because he was hurt due to his wings stabbing him. It's healing right now, but he's becoming much more stronger, much more faster. Not because he's growing, but more the fact because he's healing with the chi surrounding him. Not only that, Kokobile is now feeling all this and gets punched in the face by the freaking Red's hand. Not only that, gets kicked in the freaking chin. After that, Issei just grabs the staff and smashes him so hard in the head it feels like his skull cracked. And after that, Issei grabs his legs and just flies down so fast that it hits the ground. But with Issei in the air before that it can even happen. Oh man, I hate talking so freaking much without drinking water. I'm not sick, you guys, I'm not sick, but anyway, Issei just summons a Kamehameha wave and then just shoots it as fast as he could and hitting the ground even more. Kokobile is right there, feeling this pain, but before that could even happen, Issei just summons a boost. And just says boost, 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 boost. And this is when he hears the words divide. Divide, 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 divide. And this is when Issei just looks up with not trembling, but with this weird feeling that he's going to become very, not angry, but very excited for what's going to happen. That's because Volley decides to come there, or the Vanishing Dragon, and Issei just says, "Who are you?" And this is when Volley says, "I'm no one that you must be concerned with right now. I must take Volley I must take Kokobile and his pet to jail, or basically under judgment." And this is when Kokobile just says, "Screw you." Trying to shoot out a light spear, but him not being able to, just gets mad. And Issei says, "Who are you?" And this is when he says, "I'm the Vanishing One." And this is when Drake says,
hello, Albion. And this is when Albion says, hello, Drake. How are you doing all this time? And this is when Drake says, good. It's been a while since I get to hear your voice again. Albion says, I thought you were dead. Nope, haven't died just yet, said Drake. And this is when, basically, Drake says, this man right here is going to be your opponent one day. So you must become strong, issei Hyoto. And this is when Albion says, as much as I want to talk to you even more and go about old times, right now is not the time. Either way, it is time for us to go. And yeah, pretty much they leave. Give me a second here. So, basically, Volley and the dragon leave. Well, basically both. Well, technically one of them because they're both one. So basically they leave after that, taking Kokubile and freaking Siegfried away from them. Issei is happy for the fact that they actually won. Not only that, for the fact being that, you know, he wants to get it on with Rias in a way and others. But one step at a time. Pretty much Issei just, you know, talks to the other people and talks to Kiba, holding her and saying that he's so proud of her. Not only that, the fact that he's glad that she's back. Kiba crying and crying and crying. But the fact being that he's still going to get punished for what he did. So on that fact, that being, basically, Issei is going to actually talk to freaking Rias about the whole, like, punishment, and she's getting technically 1,000 spankings for what she did the whole time, for the whole day, the whole couple of days that happened. So yeah, pretty much she's in pain. Not only that, Issei and the others just go and redo the work. Not only that, Issei talks to Azazel and finds out what his true identity is, and he actually sees nothing bad with him, to be honest. Because, well, first of all, Issei didn't actually get hurt from him. Not only that, he's okay with him. He doesn't see no evil, technically. He doesn't see any harm that he's done. But Rias gets a little mad. And not only that, they gotta clean the swimming pool. So, with that happening, Issei talks to freaking, Akeno. Because here's the thing, he has given his dragon's hand, but he hasn't given it. Basically, it was somewhat of a weird tactic these two pulled off. By somewhat concentrating on one part of the body, he made it so powerful to the point where basically it became a dragon hand. So no matter what, holy or devil powers can't actually hurt it. Only a dragon would have enough power to at least damage it. So yeah, they did all that. Not only that, but Issei just says, look, I need a little bit of help. Akeno steps up. And, you know, she's taking away the power that Issei has, using her mouth and all that stuff. Not only that, other part of Issei is very happy. So, here's what he does. He pretty much, how would I say this? Give me a second here. Issei just says, you know, you don't have to do all that stuff. And Akeno says, no, I want to. Basically, she puts her mouth into use. Not only that, going from side to side, you basically like consuming a banana. She goes on one side of the banana and then the other side. And not only that, goes on to the bottom parts. And basically, you know, just helps out the nuts a bit. You know, just helping those out. Not only that, basically, after all that stuff, banana milk comes out and just goes on top of Akeno. Akeno is super excited. Not only that, she's freaking happy. And basically, the whole fact of the matter being that she's a little bit more of a soaked. She becomes a little more wet. So, pretty much, issei, tells her that thanks for the thing. And Rias gets a little jealous because she saw that. She was like, what did you just do? This is weird. Pretty much Akino says, oh, I need to help him out by taking the power of the dragon. And not only that, I was thirsty. And this is when Ria says, Now, after all that stuff happens, give me a second here. So, basically, what does happen is, Rias and freaking Akino get a little feisty. So when he runs, he just goes somewhere else. Basically knowing that, yeah, something's going to happen. And the two fight for a while. After a couple of minutes later, basically, issei just talks to, issei talks to freaking Konako and Asuya. Konako is actually more happier at times with him because she's actually being taught how to swim. Issei's much more easier to deal with when it comes to teaching since he's, been taught so much about how to do things, and swimming is one of them. So, pretty much he helps her and all that stuff, and he helps Asuya. Not only that, gets to rub on freaking Rias. Not only that, pretty much Akino wanted to have some fun. These two fight for a while, and the whole Zenobia thing, wanting to have a baby. And she says, since you're always overflowing with power, not only that, that energy that you had would rival against a lot of other people, you could just go and do stuff with other people. Like me. And issei was like, wait, what? And she was like, oh, yeah. I want the monkey demon seed. And issei was like, I mean, I could give it. But the fact of the matter is, issei just closes his eyes and just, covers his face. And this is when Rias gets a little mad and all that stuff. Not only that, freaking Rias' brother just popped in as usual after the whole, technically, issei was being, not talked to, but, lectured about, baby making and stuff. And this is when issei said, but wait a minute, what about the time that we... And this is when Rias says, wait, what? Oh, yeah, that. Well, yes, well, she can't complain too much now. She's like, fudge, I forgot all about that. Issei just says, well, yeah, we did. Well, technically, now that I think about it, is it born? Or is it going to be born soon? And this is when pretty much issei just says, well, either way, I'm glad to meet, Lucifer and all that stuff, and all them other people, such as Grafia and all, and, his brother, Rias' brother just, shakes his hand because this is the first time in a long time, that they've basically went into the other side of the world, or basically in the human world. And they basically, issei says, oh, you could stay at my place. And issei and the others are just talking. Pretty much, they both have a drink. Not only that, issei is just, being actually friendly and just talking with him, joking on him, making fun of him a little bit. Gray feels like, oh boy, he's gonna die. And this is when Ria says, oh no, my issei's going to die. Basically, they're just friendly towards each other. It's actually pretty nice to actually talk to somebody so powerful and not actually get in trouble for that. Give me a second here, people. Well, basically, after all that stuff happens, yeah, pretty much they go to sleep. Sir Zex wants to talk with issei about Azazel, and this one, he doesn't actually see Azazel as a bad person. He actually thought of him as a truly kind-hearted person, and even Sir Zex says that it was him that wanted him not to be a part of the war anymore. They wanted only peace. And that's what Sir Zex says. And not only that, with Sir Zex saying that it's nothing to worry about, Kokobio has been severely punished for his crimes, issei says that, yeah, I don't think Azazel is bad at all. Not only that, they talk about, Rias's boobs and all that stuff, and issei was like, oh yeah. Not only that, Sir Zex says that there's a kid that's going to be coming up soon. And this is when he says, what kid? And this is when Sir Zex says, yeah, I could sense this kind of stuff. Not only that, Grafia has an intuition. Let's just say it's a mother's intuition. That, yeah, you knocked up my sister, which means you're going to be a brother. And this is when he's like, oh, fudge. Oh, crap, I knew I did something. And this is when he says, yeah, I think this is during the time when... Ooh. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I see what's happening here. No, you don't have nothing to worry about. Yeah, let's just say that pretty much... Because of the whole... what's his name? Riser situation. That would be understandable. So yeah, that's pretty much it right there. Nothing to worry about. But yeah, give me a second here, people. Alright. So, after the whole talk with the brother, him finding out he's going to be a father in probably 8 months or so, this whole thing happens with freaking everyone finding out. Konoko and Kiba are very jealous. Akino wants to have him even more. Asya really wants to at least show issei that, show issei all the love and more of that stuff. And Konoko is just thinking, you pervert, why didn't you think about doing that with me? And issei was like, wait, what? And she thought over her head for a couple of minutes, and she just punches issei. After that, just walks away. Not only that, the whole, all that happens. But before we can even get to that part, issei talks with Vali. Them talking for a while, saying that he should be pampered, and not only that, should be at least respected. Issei says he's okay with the life he has. He's pretty much okay, because it doesn't act too effective. It doesn't affect him as much. And this is when Vali says, are you sure about that? If you want, you can technically have anyone you want. But yet you choose to be going out with other people instead. And Issei says, yeah, that may be true, but that doesn't mean I don't like it right here. I'm okay with it. And this is when he says, despicable. And basically, he just walks away before anyone has a chance to. Issei explains everything. And not only that, the whole family gets to go to, open house. So everything happens to that point. But we get to the shower scene when pretty much he talks to Rias about, them having a baby. And this is when Ria says, yeah, we will have kids. We will have a child. And this is when Asya says, but I want to have a child too. I like it. And not only that, basically, Asya, gets on top of Issei. Rias is saying that it can't be helped. And, she just inserts the power pole on up to her. And after that, sitting down and getting back up. After all that happening, Issei is, feeling more and more, aggravated. A little more, power boosted. And a couple of minutes later, they keep going at it for a while. Not only that, Issei is just groping her. And freaking Rias is, just tongue violating Issei because she wants to at least get a little bit of the action. And not only that, pretty much they keep slipping out and slipping back in. And then Issei just
hugs her and just goes a little more tighter, and not only that, biting onto Asya. So when all that happens, pretty much Asya is getting happy because of the whole fact of the matter being, Asya is feeling the love and affection that she wanted. So all that stuff happens, and pretty much issei gets a little excited, and this is when basically he hugs her, squeezes her a little tighter, and basically unleashes the banana milk inside and outside of her, basically covering a little bit of Rias and hitting the Opie. And basically, you know, she's just, she's just super happy. Not only that, issei and them just stay in the bath for a little longer, having their little rest. And this is basically after all that. Yeah, they don't talk about it to anyone. And sooner or later, pretty much after the whole talk with freaking Rias and all that, open house still happens. You know, and then after that, we get to meet Seraphal, or Lady Leviathan. And not only that, pretty much issei has an imagination creating the freaking artwork that he made the last time. But not only that, Konako grabs him by his tail and basically drags him because she needs to talk to him. She wants to learn a little bit more fighting styles. Because the last time he did it, he was a human, and yet his physical ability was a little more average than most people. So she wants to learn from him. Issei saying, alright, I'll teach you all the things that I know. And basically after all that stuff happens, Kiba wants to be actually partnering him with the sword, with swordsmanship. And not only that, teaching him how to use a sword. Since basically all that happened, he wants to know. Well, it's not that he wants to know. It's more of the fact that he likes training like this. So, issei and the others basically do their whole thing. And yeah. So, pretty much after all that stuff happens, the father, Zerzax and Rias' father, you know, talk to freaking issei's dad and pretty much issei's mom. All that stuff. They go into the room, and they do a little bit of kissy time. Give me a second here, people. So, basically all that happens, and yeah. But, technically his name is the Devil King Lucifer, Zerzax, but either way, he talks to Rias, and says, Rias, I think it's about time that you send out your other bishop. And yeah, they send the other bishop, which happens to be a guy. Or is it? I decided something. I did not want to consider that person a dude at all. Even up to now, I still think it's a chick. So, for all my fellow compatriots who thought that Gasper was a dude, we're no longer going to think that. And this one, it's strictly female. And yes, I know, you should not gender bend people just because. But at the same time, it's sad. It's truly horrible. Even I feel this pain. I am not going to do this because of my perverted actions. I'm doing this so I can make time right. So I can make this world a better place. With the power of youth. So, Gasper's a chick. But they say it's a guy because Gasper wants to be a much more manlier person or stronger person. And in her mind, that means man. So, I also thought of this because of a certain anime. I think it's called Next Hanagai or something like that. I don't really remember it, but it's a cool one. If the maid is a chick who wants to be a dude, but in the very end she becomes a chick either way. So anyway, what happens is this. Issei just tells Gasper to, come outside with them. She runs away, or basically somewhat powers away, or stops time to get away.
Not only that, does other things, such as cry. And Issei is just saying, look man, we gotta just go. And Issei just goes right behind her and pretty much taps her in the neck. And in those anime moves, pretty much that means 100% knockouts. They knock her out, so basically Issei just does all that, and they basically train Gasper. And yeah, she gets teased by Konako. She's being chased by Durandal by freaking Zenovia for some freaking reason. Why is she chased by Zenovia? I don't know why. But either way, that all happens. Zenovia and the others chase him down. Not only that, Issei is a little more happier for the fact that she's being okay. She's being treated as another one of the crew members. Not only that, Issei knows that she wants to go back. And not only that, they talk to Azazel. Issei asks him why did he hide his identity? And Azazel said, yeah, that's kind of my style right there. Not only that, I like being my own person without having to be known as the freaking fallen, the general, the fallen angels. So yeah, I changed my name, and not only that, well, I didn't change my name, but I know that if anyone else were to chase me around, they would see that name. Sorry to lie to you about that. Issei says, no, it's alright, you don't have to worry about that. Now, Issei, trains with her a little bit more, or trains with freaking, with freaking Gasper. And yeah, they basically talk for a while, and not only that, they try to help him out with stopping time, since Azazel helped them out. Yeah, he still helps them out, because I think he would still do that. I mean, it's not that much, yeah. But either way, Gasper just, he just learns how to control time tiny bit, percentage, little bit, after being calmed by Issei, since he's being a little more serious and much more patient. And Issei just decides to sit down next by the door and explain everything about his past. So yeah, that's pretty much it right there, and Gasper feels a little more happier. Give me a second here, people. Okay. So, after the whole thing with Gasper, and not only that, with the whole fact being him training him to actually come up with combinations, although it's not, there's a tiny percentage of what Issei wants to do, to be honest. It's like, Issei's still a pervert, and that's his nature. But he also jokes with Gasper as well. He makes him feel a much more better person. He doesn't actually, he gets him to be a much more cheerier person. Not only that, Issei also, after all that happens, goes to school, does his things, and pretty much talks with people. And then he has to go straight to the temple to talk to Sir Michael. Now, Michael talks to him about everything that happens. Not only that, him having a dragon sword named Ascalon. Since Ascalon is a somewhat powerful creature, a powerful sword, he gives it to Issei so that way he could help him. So that way it could be more of a catalyst, so that way he can at least use his power much more effectively. Now with all that, Issei just attaches it to his body, and then he feels this wave of energy just somewhat relaxing him, instead of being more of a burden on him. This is when he just tries to power up for a couple of seconds, and when he reaches boosted balance breaker, basically using his scale mail, he somewhat feels much more refined, replenished. So, after all that, pretty much Issei just says, alright, thank you, Sir Michael, sir. And this is when pretty much, all that happens, and all that jazz. And this is when Akino talks to him about her side of being, the daughter of Barkiel, which is Akino's father. And yes, she tells him everything about him being a somewhat a high-ranking fallen angel, technically the leader of a fallen angel race. Well, one of the leaders. And yes, she somewhat tells Issei that she understands if she hates him. She says that because they are the one that caused Ozzy and him pain. Not only that, it was the one person who he truly, it was a fallen angel that he first loved and was tricked into being actually, cared about. So basically, she knows that it's going to be a tough time. Issei says he doesn't care about that. He truly cares about Akeno, because she's not actually someone he cares about. She's someone he cares about a lot. And this is when Akeno hugs him and all that stuff. And Issei gets his perverted side and says, Akeno, if you don't get off of me right now, I will become much more perverted. Golly, you're acting like a bad girl for some reason. Her hearing this gets her senses a little tingling. Not only that, pretty much Issei just says, "Oh, right. So, Akeno, look, please understand the fact being, I see you as a good friend and companion, but you don't have to be that way with me. You can be anything you want with me. You don't have to be like this." And this is what she says, "Oh, but I do actually want to be like this, Issei." And Issei says, "Well, if that makes you happier, I have no problems with that at all." And this is when basically something was about to happen, but Rias takes it away. Not only that, pretty much Issei, has to go train with Gasper and all that stuff. Not only that, with Azazel and Volley talking, and basically, them training with Gasper, doing all the ball techniques, and, Akeno and Rias doing their whole, "Oh, we're proud of you" moment. And then after that, Issei gets held by the Oppai, with Akeno being his third person. Now, all that happens, pretty much Issei, just is happy. Then this is when Asya gets in on the action, and they just do a little bit of a, tongue war and all that stuff. Pretty much being happy with all of each other. Now, give me a second here, people. Now, Issei and the others are basically doing their own thing, because pretty much after, the whole tongue wrestling thing, not only that, all of them sleeping together, basically they were informed about a meeting that was going to happen, and Azazel was there, asking for peace, and Issei says, "I vote for peace. I'm very happy because it's peaceful." Not only that, Gasper and Konako were left alone, so that way there won't be too much of an inconvenience for basically anyone on either side. And he said, "Issei, I know that, you don't want war at all. Although you like fighting, that's not your biggest issue here. Since Kokobeel was gone to hell, and after that the whole White Dragon incident, I think it's very nice to see that if we had other issues to discuss, such as, how would I say this? You just being with your women, and not only that, having good times with them. That is the whole thing you want. Not only that, we don't have to build ourselves on fighting anymore. We can build ourselves on recreating the whole world again." Issei was like, all right, I could get behind war. I could get behind the whole fact that we need to all be together. And he said that, and freaking Azazel said, yes, that's kind of great right there. You see that? Not only that, pretty much Azazel and the other. All right, so yeah, pretty much, yeah, they're talking, and they're about to make all the peace and stuff. And this is when the witches do their attack. Pretty much, everyone just sees what's happening. They're stopped in time because of Gasper, and pretty much Catalea pretty much declares war. And this is pretty much where I'm going to leave it off for right now, because I need to, because I gotta do another part of this, because I don't have that much storage on my battery, or storage on my, storage anymore, like, to store in this stuff. So pretty much, yeah, I will do it soon. Or, I will do it after I'm done with this whole, like, you know, High School DxD, or not High School DxD, after, downloading this, uploading this video. So yeah, do not worry, guys, and like I always say, like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout with it here. Bye.